In today's video, I will be going through the main differences between drop shipping and drop servicing and why I actually prefer the drop servicing business model. Now, before we get into that, if you guys haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button down below and of course hit that little bell next to it as well. That way you'll be notified for my next video. But I'd like to start this video with a little bit of a brief rundown on what these two different business models are and how they work. So we'll have a look here just on my computer. We can see that for the drop shipping business model, how it works generally is we set up a store through a website. Most people prefer to use Shopify as their store website. And then what we do is we go over and we find products on a supplier's website. And the most preferred way of doing this is through AliExpress. And once we've found a product and that we think will be a winning product, we then put that product onto our store. Now, of course, when we put it onto our store, we want to make sure that we have a good profit margin on it. So you could choose whatever you like, have a look at competitors and see what they're selling for, and then obviously sell at a higher margin above what the supplier is charging for the product and also the shipping. So drop shipping is mainly products, like I just said. So what happens is once that product's on the store, we then need to market to an audience of people that might buy that product. So we market to this audience of people, and then once we market to them, hopefully they come over to our store, they make a purchase, and then once they make a purchase, we then need to fulfill the order by heading back to our supplier. And once we go to our supplier, we purchase the product, we put in the shipping details for the customer. So not actually us, we don't do anything, you don't have anything to do with the product itself in terms of the physical product and handling it. What will happen is AliExpress or the supplier will actually send that product directly to the customer. So it doesn't go through your hands at all. You don't have to deal with the shipping or logistics. Your main thing is setting up a store, marketing that product, and trying to attract customers to buy. As for the drop servicing model, however, we're going to cut out this AliExpress and we'll be using freelancers, okay? And we can use freelancing platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, People Per Hour. So I have done a whole video on this previously, so you can head into my channel and check that out. I go a little bit more in depth on how I do it and how I run my drop servicing business. So you can head into that and see how I do it. But basically now today's video is just comparing the two models, drop shipping and drop servicing. So I won't go into too much detail. So very similar concept though. You generally build a website. Instead of calling it a store, you can just have a website company page that advertises your services. And these are generally done on WordPress. There are some people that do it through Shopify. However, I know most people in the drop servicing scene use WordPress and build a store on there or a website on there. Then similar concept though, they want to reach out to an audience. So they want to find their audience in different niches. It could be in health and fitness niche. It could be in the finance niche. There's a range of different niches out there. So they target these people. You can do it through paid advertising or free advertising. Once they reach out and they give them an offer, they hope that this client will convert and choose to use their services. So they'll purchase their services, and then what they do is they head over to the freelancer. So the freelancer can either be on Fiverr. I can't even use this thing, but there we are, freelancer. And once they use that freelancer, they're going to produce the product for them, and it can take up to 4 weeks. That's generally what I offer as my service. So it could take a little bit longer, but it's a full-on service that is at a higher ticket value. So the service that we find, we obviously want to find the team first, find the service. It could be graphic design, for example, and we want to find someone that does a branding package. So we head over to Fiverr, Upwork, and we list a job, or we find people that offer branding packages. So we can have a look here. If I type into Fiverr branding, it comes up with a whole lot of different offers. So we have some in the $300 range and then some at the cheaper range. So you really want to go through and scrape out all the bad ones and find all the good ones. For example, this guy has almost 5 stars with 1,000 or more orders. Even though he's more expensive, you just know that the quality is generally going to be better. So find those ones that aren't too cheap, like these almost $20 ones here. And then those are the ones that you want to find and use as your team. You then want to find your competition. So you want to look at what your competitors are offering, type of packages, type of deals, everything like that. And then obviously come in a little bit under that because we want to sell to clients, especially at a cheaper rate to begin with because you are new to the industry or new to that service. And then once you've done that, your freelancer will do the service, and then that freelancer will actually come back to you. So there's no shipping or anything like that. They then come back to you, and then once they come back to you, you then offer it back to your clients. So you kind of act as the project manager, is what we like to call in drop servicing. So you manage the communication between the client and the freelancer, and then you just deliver it and market it. So this video is about comparing the two methods. So we'll start off by listing the key differences here. So what we like to call these two is we like to call that the drop shipping is what we call the red ocean, and a drop servicing is what we call a blue ocean. And what I mean by this, or the analogy of this, is in a red ocean, it's basically saying that there's a lot of fishermen in there with a lot of hooks trying to catch fish, but that ocean is overfished and there's not a lot of fish in there to catch. As for the blue ocean, it's the opposite. There's not a lot of fishermen in the ocean, but there are a lot of fish that you can catch. So over the last 5 years, dropshipping has become extremely saturated. There's a lot of people that have tried it. The barrier of entry for dropshipping is very low, and the overheads can be really low to begin with. There's obviously a lot of people on YouTube that are publicizing their results and how dropshipping is and teaching people how to dropship. So yeah, maybe 5 years ago, it would be a perfect time to get into dropshipping. Even now, I wouldn't say it's a terrible time to get into it. You can definitely make money in it. However, you do have to choose the right product, choose a winning product that is, and also market it and get the right audience. Now, another reason why I prefer the drop servicing method is kind of a little bit ethical, you could say. So with drop servicing, you are offering a service, and what happens is that service is delivered and you are doing it at a high quality. So you kind of vet out all the bad ones or the bad freelancers, and you try and pick the good freelancers at a reasonable price as well. Then you can actually go into other countries that would be charging these prices. So if you're looking at charging or finding freelancers in the United States or Australia or New Zealand, these freelancers are generally going to be charging more because their overheads and everything like that, or their cost to live in that country is a lot higher than the other freelancers who may live in the likes of Bali, Philippines, India, Pakistan, where their cost of living is a lot lower. And so then that way they actually charge a little bit less, and you can actually get just as good quality from these people rather than the ones that are charging a lot more. And so with the drop servicing method, it means that you can support these people in these countries, so you don't have to really feel bad about it. It's totally fine. They love it. They love you bringing them business, bringing them money. It's completely fine. As for drop shipping though, what happens is generally those products are coming out of China, especially if you're with AliExpress. A lot of those suppliers are in China, and so those products are being created. And if you don't actually get it shipped to yourself and you do a quality check yourself, you don't really know what the quality is to begin with. And it could take up to a month before you even receive that product to do a quality check. So what happens is when that product gets shipped to the customer, and do bear in mind that shipping is going straight from the supplier, and they're going to get that yellow Chinese, what they call e-packet packaging, that doesn't even have your company brand on it. So it doesn't really look very right when the customer gets it. And then when they do get it, all of a sudden, let's say it breaks or it's not what they expected, they complain. They're going to write a review, they're going to email you, they're going to ask for a refund. And so if you're having to sell a lot of these items or the products, it means that you're going to have a lot of customers. And if you have a lot of customers, that means that's more people to deal with if it comes to refunds or replies or customer satisfaction. As for the drop servicing though, you can usually get a service within a small amount of time, and then that way you can make sure it's good quality and give it to the client and they'll be happy. And the thing is, if that client isn't happy with the service, you can actually offer revisions as well. So generally you offer a few for free to begin with, and you can actually charge for more revisions. But by offering those revisions, you can make sure that, or the customer themselves actually has input to make sure that service gets done right. Now, the next reason I prefer the drop servicing method is because once you've got that service and you're offering, you don't have to change it. When it comes to drop shipping, generally what happens is you spend a lot of time testing, spending a lot of money testing and finding that right product, or what they like to call a winning product. Once you have the winning product, you advertise it, you make a lot of money from it, but after maybe 2 or 3 months, all of a sudden every other competitor has jumped on board and they're selling that product as well. And so you'll start to see your sales drop, and then you'll start thinking, right, I need to find another winning product. So you've got to spend more money to test, and more time to find a new winning product. Where, like I said, with drop servicing, once you've got your service, you don't have to change it. You just keep reaching out to as many people as possible, offering your service at a discount, or maybe they get a month free. There's all sorts of different offers that you can reach out and target an audience with. Moving on to profit margins now. So I did mention I was going to talk about prices, and this is a really cool thing with drop servicing is you can actually charge high ticket prices. So when you look at your competition, you'll see that some of your competition charges in the thousands. So if I was to look for a branding package, which could cost on average of around $2,000 for a branding package, yet I can find a freelancer who is charging it out between $300 to $600. So you can actually see the level of profit margin between obviously the competitor and then also your freelancer. So you want to find some middle ground in there. You want to have a good profit margin, but also come in under your competitor. So let's say, for example, your freelancer charges $300, your competitor charges $2,000, but you're going to charge $1,300. So right there, you're coming in $700 cheaper than your competitor, but you're also coming in $1,000 more than your freelancer. And so that $1,000 is technically profit once you take off the production costs or the freelancer costs. Now, I'm not going to include advertising costs because they can vary amongst all sorts of different things. I'm only including the production costs. So if I was going to show you the drop shipping example, we could say I've seen a winning product, the posture corrector one that you wear. Let's say you sell that product at about $30 to $40, okay? And then you see that you can buy that product for about $8, including the shipping. You can see that profit margin there, let's say $30, the profit margin there is about $22. And so that $22 profit, you're going to need to sell that product 1,000 times before you make the same type of profit you made from one sale doing your drop servicing. And the last two things I love about drop servicing is both the relationships that you build and also how easy it is to automate. So by what I mean by relationships is you actually get to spend a lot of time communicating with your client. So let's say we have a 4-week completion date, you're back and forth with the client and you want to impress them and want to give them a good service. What that actually means is that means they could come back and use your service again. They could also refer some of their friends or other business partners, which could actually use your service as well. And when it comes to automation, to set up your automation, you could set up someone to do your advertising, you could set up someone to do your sales calls and close those calls for you. And you can also set up a project manager who will relay those communications between the client and the freelancer. And so really all you have to do is just do small checkups during the week to make sure everything's running smoothly. And lastly, by offering a service as well, you can offer those reoccurring payments. So if you want to set up a Facebook ads agency or a Google ads agency, you can charge out monthly in order for you to do their Facebook ads or their Google ads or even manage their social media accounts. And so that's one of the coolest things because then you know that you're going to get that guaranteed income within those months, whatever the contract is signed for. But that is all from me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below. And of course, don't forget to comment and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.